Hello guys, this is leathertoolz. Today I'm to review this Chartermade signature series, a paring knife. It's a skiving knife, it's a paring knife. It is versatile tool, it is amazing tool, I highly recommend it. I want to compare with the previous version. I am very big fan of this knife also as well. It has a great patina in this keyart handle. It's a highly polished, and also this has this patina of this brass ferrule, and also the same steel N690 powder stainless steel. Has a great application for this. I just want to really nail it down the big points. What this knife at the end, I will show you. I'll do the demonstration how it's been used. So first of all, the size changes. So this is more like the traditional version. He has been Chartermade is making for many years. It's been very popular over the other crafters. I highly recommend this knife as well. This one is a signature series he has released this year. It has a really beautiful handle. It's a full tank construction. This one is just a traditional rat tail construction. Just the blade is inserted, perfectly aesthetically pleasing as well. The main difference between these two knives are the width, I would say. At the edge, very at the edge, it's 40 millimeter. Yeah, it tapers down a little bit, but then the edge is around at a little 1 millimeter shy. So I would say it's a 40 millimeter. This one is a little bit narrower. I say it's about 32 millimeter. So it has about an 8 millimeter difference. So if you see comparison, excuse me. So it's like this. It's a very small change in terms of width. The length, I mean, it's very similar. Length, I would say, is equal because there will be some of the I say a lot of it's a handmade knives, so the length could be different depending on the shaping of the handle. I say it's a similar or the same, so the length is the same, just the width. Yeah. So what's really good about this knife is that you can skive down very thin leather effectively. I've experienced with many different types of leather, and all of this leather is just equally. It's easy to work with. It's sharp. It stays sharp, and that's what's really important for the paring knife application. So if you see the edge, it has a very fine tapered hollow ground to it. So both of knives equally, it has a very thin edge at the tip. So you can dig down leather effectively rather than you having just a slope knife like this one. So this is a knife that I made, and it has just a slope to it. So if you compare the two knives, this knife has a much thinner edge at the tip. So this is what's really plays a big role when it comes to cutting tools. You need to have a very thin edge at the tip. So he has nailed down how thin it could be without compromising toughness or without breaking the steel. Yeah. So it is amazing technique, amazing geometry that he has put on with this knife, that you can really dig into the leather easily without too much resistance, and also getting to down the very thin leather even thinner. So that's the really important part. So even if you are not a knife person, you should realize that how he really came up with the idea to make the hollow ground here. It's an amazing choice. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. So the thickness. So the one thing that I was always thinking about this knife was that I was wishing that this handle is so easy to handle. It's so comfortable to handle. This ergonomic design, by grabbing it, it just fits like a glove. Yeah. The only thing that I was thinking maybe was I wanted to ground down the belly of the bottom side. Maybe it could feel a little bit worse, but then I could get down a little bit lower. That was the only downside for this knife. I say this knife has nailed it like this. The wish has came through. I mean, it has thinned out a lot by having it without having too much of fat side on the bottom, so that you can lower your angle much easier without having to really rely on putting your hand outside of your paring stone. You can also rely on just paring stone like this. You can just skive down without a problem. So it has, I think this is the ultimate kind of optimal setup how you make your skiving knife. He has really made a great move, great introduction to this skiving technique, and I think this is the really the nailed down version of how you could really think about how to make this kind of skiving knife. The aesthetic pleasing of things about this knife is that it has a kind of this rounded butt end. It's not flat, so you can grab it easily like this. It just feels great. And also it has a tapered end, so that when you move forward with this knife really gives you this kind of wedge effect, so it just locks in your hand really comfortably. It's not slippery at all. It just holds in your hand so comfortably like this. Just it's a pleasure to move around. You know? Think about the steel again. This is N690. This is very similar to high-end Japanese knife steel called VG10. This is powdered version of a VG10, more like it's a very similar. I say it's a little bit better than VG10. Powdered stainless steel are much better than conventional stainless steel and also conventional carbon steel. Powdered stainless steel you can really rely on. It is a new generation of manufacturing steel. It is a very clean alloy. It's a super fine microstructure steel, and it is also heat treated so that you can sharpen easily. If you think about really hard alloys, if you think about powder steel, most people worry about sharpening it. He had made this HRC level, hardness level, so easy to sharpen, but also maintain its sharpness very long time. Because of this is powdered stainless steel, you get this kind of martensitic, very fine chromium carbide. So chromium carbide, you don't have to go to too hard. You will get the hardness, even though with the little bit of lower Rockwell hardness, you get enough of hard chromium carbide so that you can really hold your edge really well with your steel. So he knows that with a little bit of lower HRC, you can sharpen easily and it stays much more sharp. Some guys harden their stainless steel knives too hard. You get a little bit of benefit of staying sharp, but then it's much difficult to sharpen it. And that kind of small difference, I mean, you can't really feel it with your hand on the working level. You have to really know the steel and also life experience about the knife. But then I say, just hands down, this knife has an optimal heat treatment. That is the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah. I don't recommend it though, but it is made for multiple use. So let me give out a cutting board, certainly. So this is the typical cutting board that you guys find it. I don't recommend it like this, but then it is designed it like that. So what you can do is you can use this knife as a multi-function way. Why I don't recommend to use it like that is you need to keep your knife razor sharp so that it's easy to skive, and it's also it's ready to go when you need to skive down. But you can still use it like the Japanese style, or just a type of this type of, how I call it, Japanese way of using knives. So either the flat side to your body or just the hollow ground side to your body. It doesn't matter if you're left or righty. Just put your knife like this, and then you cut your leather like this so easily. This is, I'll say 3 to 4 millimeter thick, super thick vegetable tan leather. It's a very tough, but you just see how it easily cuts. Yeah, like this. It still stays sharp. You can still skive down with it, but then you're using two type of action. You're pushing it down and you're pulling it. You are putting a lot of stress at the edge. This might really result in when you really want to skive down, your edge might be a little bit dull. Then in that case, you need to strop it so that you get the super sharp edge before you skive. So I'd rather have another knife. Obviously, I have this Japanese skive knife that I reviewed before. I use this knife in that application only, just to use as a Japanese knife. I just use it as a Japanese knife, and then I keep this knife as sharp as possible for paring action. So this is the difference. But then still, if you are really diligent, you're okay with sharpening it, you have no problem. You can use this as a Japanese skiving, a Japanese cutter, like you'd cut your leather, and also you can also use it as a skiving knife for your paring knife. So one thing also, you have this round tip. What you could do is also you could roll it like this is your kind of, how do I call it, a pattern knife. So you could round it off like this. You can you could do it like that. So you can also use it as this round portion as a kind of roll cutter. So it is a tricky thing. It's too thick of leather. If you use thin leather, I mean, it's much easier. Thick leather cuts super fine. It's no problem. With the thin leather, I mean, you could use it like this also as well. So just another application with using your round edge. Obviously, it's much better with this type of pattern knife. This is designed for that job. Same action. I will show you much cleaner. Yeah. So just like this. It is much better type of application. You can also cut straight. This is Chartermade pattern knife. This is super easy to cut. It's much better than the round knife, conventional round knife. Yeah. So you can also use it multiple way. So you have a dedicated knife for it. It's always nice. So this is what I meant by it. This amazing knife. So I will show you how it's used for thinning down the skive part. Typical this part, the edge of the part where you can skive down the leather very thin. Too much of talk. I'll show you how it works. So again, like I showed you, it is 1.5 millimeter thin. It's a super thin leather. this is how you skive, really thin piece of leather. Obviously you can't make it perfectly at a one go, you just need to touch up here and there, but overall it's quite a consistent result. So what you do is with this same knife, you just need to touch up a little bit up here, just to really the part where it's not equal as the other parts, you just need to skive down a little bit. So it's a super thin technique. You can practice at home. You can achieve this kind of result in a very short time. Just a experience and also practicing it just gives you these results. I'm not also super professional with this knife. I am also trying to put together essential knives that I use for my leather work so that I don't have to change my tools often. This knife is super useful. This type of technique, I highly recommend it. So yeah, so that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll see you guys next video. Bye bye.